Second game. Slazinski over the chop. Jalen Withers gathers, can't finish. And it's down to Wendell Moore Jr. Jay, as you well know, this is the third meeting of the season between these two. Louisville has won each of the last two. Gone to the bench with 2 fouls. What a pass from Carlik Jones, but Johnson can't finish.
And it was a fantastic cut by Johnson, and Withers was right there to tap it in. But right now Louisville cannot get anything to go offensively. They've had opportunities, but they've missed some layups and some close ones.
Mark Williams has gone to the bench for Duke. Henry Coleman III is in for the Blue Devils, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia. And there's a great example of her keeping that. He was named the Defensive Player of the Year in the league. Johnson a little bit short, and the rebound down to Moore.
Just short arm that. Louisville's getting opportunities. They just have to knock them down. Right now, a little bit of a different lineup. Henry Coleman into the ball game. This isolation on the elbow for Hurt.
And not a whole lot.
Matthew Hurt coming over from the weak side to bother that. Neither team has had a ton of success making shots on the offensive end. They're playing hard, but I haven't seen the ball go in the bucket.
Hurt 5 inches taller than Johnson. Over him and run. Cardinals.
There's a lot of contact on that drive.
And when you need a bucket, shooting 31%, Duke's over 46%, and it's only a 9-point game. And again, another pretty good look. But the shots aren't dropping for the Cardinals.
They've been all jump shots, except for that drive to the bucket by Johnson, where he wasn't able to get going.
Williamson on Hurt right now. Johnson is on Williams at the moment.
Just decided to isolate Matthew Hurt at the elbow. Switch pivot feet there.
And still not.
That shot fake really gave him the opportunity. How about that move?
Can't finish, though. And here come the Blue Devils with numbers. Goldwire. Hurt.
COVID pause there. It was a gigantic outburst for him. Talk about enthusiastic. Here's Hurt again for 3. Yes, well, here Mike Young, great job at Virginia Tech. COVID issues, fought his way through it. And did a heck of a job.
Offense to the left and throwing back. So you either had the shot or you had a high-low opportunity.
Very balanced scoring so far for Carolina. Goldwire with a nice look. Extra pass Moore. And the 3 will go down for Matthew, or the 10 seed. That means, Jay, they would have to play on Tuesday against the 15 seed. They would have to play on the first day of the ACC tournament.
Unusual position for the Blue Devils. Good drive by Matthew Hurt.
Terrific talents. There's just no limit. There's a steal by Tapé, who's just come in for Williams.
That's a different way to construct a basketball game. Most teams are going more for threes, and that's why.
Hurt just lost it. Or was that deflected by Brooks? I don't think Brooks would. Louisville 99-54 a couple of weeks ago. Then they lost to Marquette. Then they beat Florida State, but then they lose at Syracuse. It's not that they're not talented. It's not that they're not capable of being really good. They just haven't really been able to sustain it for too long.
Well, that's often the difference between the good teams and the really good teams is high-level consistency. And North Carolina's not been consistent at the highest level. They've had turnover in front defensively. Switches off on Matthew Hurt. Solid job.
Well, Hurt follows up his own miss.
But enough people out there remember what it was like last March when we didn't have an NCAA tournament that I think, regardless of the field, we're going to be happy to see basketball in March.
Pump fake, step back, buckets. DeVoe knocks home a couple, and Georgia Tech has a 4-point lead just across the halfway point of the first half here at McCamish Pavilion. Oh, high-low, Matthew Hurt, good look.
Who's in position, sliding his feet, not using his arms. Is there such a thing as smallism?
Bucket for Usher. Usher's got 7. 29-28, inside 2 minutes to go. Matthew Hurt with an E.
At times they call an offensive foul nowadays, but I just love Jose Alvarado. The energy he brings, the way he attacks, and you really do wonder how much the hamstring, maybe holding him back. Doesn't have that burst. You had mentioned that at halftime. I think you can see it.
Hurt. That was a really good step through, and Moses Wright is called for.
And a good start for Louisville. You know, Duke has really lowered their turnovers in the last 4 games, an area where they are much improved. A turnover right off the bat, and points off of that turnover by Louisville.
DJ Stewart, the freshman who's been playing so well, a little step back and a long one, and he's on top.
Mark of the second half. Chris Mack made a switch, decided to put David Johnson on him. Hurt then went 12 minutes without scoring, only scored 4 points the rest of the game.
Inside for Williams to drop in 2, the 6'11 senior. This is second game back this season. He missed the first 15 games after foot surgery, a broken bone in his right foot. They get tremendous leadership out of him.
The first time these two teams met, have not played a lot of zone late. Jalen Withers had a reputation as being able to knock down a face-up shot. We haven't seen it a lot because he's been on the interior with no Malik Williams. He is really tough on the block. I thought he could have carried that further. He settled into a post-up, and what a tough shot, falling back a little bit.
Off the window. Brad, who comes in averaging 17 points a game.
I thought that Johnson-Hurt matchup changed the game in the second half. The first time these two teams met. Well, I think, Coach, I think you and Fonz, Reese Davis, classing up the joint there.
Hurt little follow away.
He is killing Duke in this first half. They cannot keep him out of the paint. And, I mean, that was just a straight line drive, a good jab step drive. Malik Williams effect. So good at walling up and being big, forcing a tough shot.
Blue Devils trying to recover behind Hurt and leave him. Dish inside. Withers could not get that one to drop, so Duke with an opportunity now. Down by 6, but under 10 minutes to go. Hurd with the touch, trying to get in tight, banks it in, and takes the hit. Blue Devils have turned things around, 4-game winning streaks. They've been limiting those turnovers. Roach, tough rebound there by Hurt. And the major, he has 25 points. The rest of the team is 25. And he just came up with a great defensive play with a block. So the Blue Devils looking to tie or take the lead. Hurt wants the shot. Long one coming. He's got it. The other end, and they are back in the lead.
We have seen that far too often if you're Duke tonight. Just a bad turnover leading to offense.
But again, slicing in for 2 more.
I'm telling you what, that is a big-time finish over Matthew Hurt.
Now, Matthew Hurt has had a great game. He's had a career high in scoring, but he's been pretty quiet the last several minutes. Duke needs him again. He's calling for the ball here. Williams feeds it to him, and inside for 2. And gets the basket to roll in to make it 76-71. Another giant shot by Jones tonight. Here's Hurt. Drops that one.
It's unnecessary. I don't think you certainly don't hear that from when a colleague of theirs is fired. They don't say, "Oh well, the team's better off without that coach." You know, it's unnecessary. I felt it was wrong, and I said so.
Robert Braswell into the game with the Syracuse bucket. 13-8 lead for Duke. Nearly 5 minutes gone by. No fans here tonight, but Duke blast that crowd noise as much as anybody. Matthew Hurt that they're playing better basketball without him. And, you know, I know you just said that's not the only reason, but do you think it's part of the reason that they might be playing better?
I mean, there may be a small aspect of that, but I find that
for the bucket, he has 6 of the 17 Syracuse points.
So he is going to be a really good player as he extends his shooting range, because defensively he is just excellent. Choices, but if you had, usually Syracuse has a 6'11", 7-foot guy in there, or somebody who's really wide.
Well, it really hurt them when they lost Baramas Sidibe. There's a 3. Got his own shot there and scored with the one-hander. His dad keeps the press on. Dolajai doing the best he can to deal with the much bigger Williams, and it wound up on the feet of Hurt.
NC State and wait as we are ready now for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster, and it'll be the Blue Devils with the first possession of the night. And what a great matchup at the point. A talented freshman in Jeremy Roach, and then a terrific player, junior Kihei Clark, part of the national championship game, a team a couple of years ago, and having a very good season for the Hoos. Matthew Hurt for three, and speaking of matchups, as Hurt gets from Rice, how do you think Duke has adjusted and continues to adjust going forward without Jalen Johnson?
Well, they haven't had much time to adjust, but 4 games ago, Mark Williams was inserted into the lineup, and for
advantage of it there.
Well, Reese Beekman, we've talked about him in steals. He gets a ton of steals for Virginia. He leads the team in steals. But Trey, there's
an interesting, dangerous team. Got a terrific backcourt. DeVoe had 29 points today. Florida State won at Pitt, 79-72. Hurt from the corner, knocks it down.
Two-handed, not really in traffic, but there was traffic in the area. That was a great play.
Jay, when you first saw him a few years ago, and again, he's a fifth-year senior, and sometimes it takes big guys longer to develop, but did you ever think Jay Huff would develop into this good of a player?
Another discriminatory comment about big guys that we develop slower.
Matthew Hurt with it. It's fun. We should mention too that Virginia is shorthanded. Thomas Woldetensai is not here with the team due to contact tracing, and he's a very good shooter off the bench. They've also got a couple of players who are back from illness. They're available, but and
you're thinking that Kihei Clark, is he gonna shoot that? It's almost Kentucky does that as well as anybody over the years, is on a drive just throwing it up to the rim, and there's so little you can do. If you don't stay home, you're going to give up that dunk.
Boy, there's just nothing.
30% from three, 14 made threes coming into this game. I think he's hit 2 of them in this game, and both big.
15 points, 3 steals tonight for Kihei Clark.
He's just been excellent.
Hurt. And he knocks it.
Rebounders and the ACC to go along with close to 10 threes made per game.
For the Blue Devils, a tough start to the month of February, 0-3, but then responded really.
I think many people will be surprised to find out that, his story. So I highly suggest anybody that does not know the story, go to the Undefeated and look at other stories like this as well, too. Just phenomenal.
Matthew.
Mark Williams. He has been the one guy, I think, that has been really impressive to see his progression from the first time he set foot on the court to now.
Matthew.
And what a beautiful set play by Wake Forest to open up the second half. A lot of cross-screen action and a nice little jump hook by a
more year.
It really has. Nice job adding some rim protection, I think, on both the offensive and defensive glass. That's where he does most of his damage.
Everything going through Oklahoma right now. That time comes up empty. Hurt again. He's red hot.
Against Wake Forest. And I've also been impressed, too, Jay, passing out of double teams. He's been unselfish with the ball anytime he's been doubled.
Wake Forest has gone to full court pressure for the first time tonight, trying to change something to take Duke outside of their rhythm. Inside to Hurt, contested, and it rims it.
Right now, it doesn't make a difference. What Wake is throwing at him, he has figured it out, and he's just playing comfortable right now.
Inside to Hurt again. That was
late and picks up the first bucket in this one.
Shaquille Moore attacks, goes right at Williams, who denies. As you take a look at the starting 5 for NC State. Hurt for
emphatically, but yeah, Doug, I went through that multiple times in my college career, both the first game of my junior year and then my last year after redshirting, coming back, and it is difficult because it's hard to see your team struggle.
Paying that price. at least for the time being, for the short term.
As are the Blue Devils. 6 freshmen for Duke, as well as their first ever grad transfer in seasons. And, you know, I don't think there are going to be many 20-win schools this season when you consider that there have been about 5 to 7 games cut out of what would be a normal schedule, and then so many postponements and cancellations. Very few programs will get enough games to actually win 20.
Matthew Hurt draws only a sophomore, but he's one of the veterans certainly on the roster, and he thought it just took a little while for him to get back to being himself, and he thinks you can stretch it, even though the stats the last 4 games, Corey, really catch your attention. Wendell's been playing with more confidence and aggression for longer than that.
He has, and it really started with their...
I wasn't listening to you that time, C.A. You could have said anything.
You don't listen to me often. That's the problem with what's going on right now. You don't listen to me enough.
What's your name again? That was my Bill Walton impersonation, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one.
No. Williams high-low to Hurt.
A question, which is an easy answer. You should know this. Who was the one player that interrupted that streak for the Blue Devils? You know, as an 11 seed, you know, not a play-in game, but what's called the first round now.
Well, today's game is just a snapshot, but the defense against NC State has been so much better. Duke came in 15th in the ACC in three-point percentage defense, and so far today the Wolfpack is now exactly 1 for 9 from distance. Matthew Hurt, on the other hand, has been perfect.
Historically, has played Duke pretty well, the former Mike Krzyzewski assistant, but recently the Blue Devils have regained control of the series.
I can't believe he's been there 21 years. It's hard to believe 21 years ago, but I played against him when I was at UCLA in one of his first seasons, and again, barely qualifies. Yeah, they've got a ways to go. I really feel as if you have to focus on this one day at a time, which means practice is more so than just one game at a time. So many people want to see wins because that's the expectation at Duke. But in reality, these are players, and this is a team that needs to be developed. Just a tough year for that process to actually take place. It's Matthew Hurt.
To be honest, he's keeping him in it.
Yeah, he is. Their offense is keeping him in it. And Duke's young guards have the opportunity to keep him in it as well if they make those poor decisions like they just did.
Stewart, good pass to Hurt on the free throw shooting. Haven't missed one today.
Reese, the point is you wouldn't assume advantage in that situation. Correct. What Notre Dame did very well was they vacated the post. They forced that into an ISO situation where he had to cover the entire post block to block.
Hurt right down the boulevard and lays it.
And I like the fact that Wendell Moore has the ball in his hands.
Could also hurt the psyche. So Duke needs something quickly, and then they'll have to try to foul and see if the Irish will miss some free throws. Matthew Hurt's in a world of trouble, but he still knocks down the shot.
Black. Oftentimes Carolina will tip that back if they can't get it. He just tipped it to himself, and Duke fortunate to come away without having given up more.
Matthew Hurt, who has not scored in this game until now, as Baycott's got 12, Sharp's got 11, Brooks has 10. They just keep coming at you.
They're big, they're talented. They're big, they are really big.
And Hurt knocks down a 3.
Easier opportunities, nothing's easy in this game, but easier opportunities.
Carolina led almost the entire way in the first half, led by as many as 12. Turnaround by Matthew Hurt, and this game
shooting well over 50%. I think they're 5 for 9. Goes back that 1-4 set again for Duke. And executed beautifully. Brooks, because he's had a struggle guarding stretch 5s and stretch 4s. And Mark Williams more of a low post 5.
Lonnie the miss for Miami. Hurt just inside the arc. Rattled. And a miss from him close by Anthony Walker.
Yeah, everything right now for Miami has just been too easy. There's a lot about how tough that team is, but Sean, it's really remarkable. I mean, Miami is off to a great start, But Miami hadn't scored 60 points in a game in their last 4, and I'm not sure have they reached 25
No,
and a
this
half?
is the first time now in the last 5 games. The previous 4 games, they did not reach 25 points in the first half.
They round instead of attacking. And now Duke's able to put some full court pressure on, and so the tempo is completely different than it was 3 minutes ago.
And Hurt puts Duke back on. With efficient on both sides before words. Matthew Hurt steps back. They say that's a 3. McGusty missed a floater. Would have given them a 6-point lead to match their largest. We're under 5 minutes to go. Duke a little fortunate there. The ball got the.
But now it's his turn to be the leader for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Coach K told us yesterday how he has grown into it. Last year we saw it where he and Trey Jones were really disruptive defensively, and now he's playing even a bigger role with Trey onto the NBA, and Jordan back in a starting role here this on the board.
Brad Brownell just raves about Amir Sims, just talks about his versatility, his greatest strength. The fact that he doesn't do any one thing great, does a lot of things really, really good, but no one thing great. But the fact that he can do so many things of what makes him great as a college basketball player, not only on the defensive end of the floor, but also offensively.
And you've got to figure before this is over, Corey, while they're on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament right now, a win here today. Got to know John Chaney well during his undergraduate years at Temple. Did a marvelous job remembering Coach Chaney last night on SportsCenter. He touched so many lives. Dana O'Neill with a wonderful write-up last night on The Athletic. So if you don't know, look him up. Google John Chaney, and you will get a sense of the impact that man has had.
Well, he's one of the pillars of Philly.
Those of you who have been watching Alabama and Kentucky, we are in the early moments here of the Georgia Tech Duke game.
Building good habits takes time, and this is a young basketball team.
And a shot on the way from the corner and comes up short. Gold wire. Now Matthew Hurd, and DeVoe gets out there to take away the easy 3.5 minutes of game time. Alvarado into double figures.
Well, that was a bad gamble by Goldwire. There's no reason to jump that hard to the pass. He gave up a back cut and an easy layup for a team that was struggling to score.
Or a little too far under the basket. Now he'll spin and kick it out. Contest to keep Hurt from shooting it the first time.
Barely recruited, and he's making it happen.
He has to steal and a little aggressive with the pass there. Results in the turnover. Hurt lays it in at the right. Working inside, spinning back to the right hand. And no second chance opportunity again for the Yellow Jackets, who haven't gotten anything on the offensive glass tonight. Wendell Moore, gold wires into the game. Hurt working on right, fading in, firing in the soft.
See the youth of Duke, how they execute down the stretch. Georgia Tech's been able to score when they've needed buckets with good execution. Let's see where Duke goes.
What a night for Moses Wright, the Raleigh native, close to home. 12 points, 13 rebounds, fading, firing.
You know, Louisville grad transfer. It just says Louisville. And, you know, right now there are a lot of guys that played in this program that did a heck of a lot more.
Coming into this one, Duke has shot 44 free throws. Their opponents have shot 77. And usually Duke has a free throw advantage on the season. This year, a free throw disadvantage. They've been outshot and outscored from the free throw line.
So do you think that comes from getting more opportunities, say, in the post for Hurd, who here steps out and knocks down the three? Or
what a pass by Dre Davis.
Boy, did the freshman from Indianapolis come to play today. Davis already has 8 points, and he's got by far the most impressive and enjoyable assist to the game. The answer at the Johnson from the corner for three as the Cardinals extend the lead.
We had 19 points, 7 assists last year against Duke in that win in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Boy, nice job by Withers to get a little hedge off that screen up top in that horn set. Horn set is basically two players up at the top of the key, two players in the corners, and the point guard chooses which side to come off of, and they can run a lot of different things out of that set. It's like a 2-3 set among players.
Hurt steps in looking for the foul. It's the second on him. Big call would have been the second on Johnson had it gone the other way. Well, Florida State Virginia's up at the top right now. They are undefeated in league play, but Leonard Hamilton's team playing better and better.
And their offensive prowess, last 3 games coming into this one, they're averaging like 88 points a game, 56% from the field, 53 from 3. It's ridiculous how good their offense has been.
Baseline turnaround, Hurt. Boy, is he tough. Johnson leaning in, rejected by J.J. Traynor. Hurt for 3. Boy, that's got to hurt if you're Louisville. You get a block.
The paint, kick it out, and Duke has to find a way to get to the free throw line. Only 4 free throw attempts in that first half.
Duke with the first possession of the second half. Jeremy Roach, the starting point guard for the Blue Devils, had a very quiet 15 minutes in the first half. They go right into Hurt. Post game, he played briefly in the first half, 4 minutes in the first half, the most action that he's gotten this year, number 21 for the Cardinals.
Almost got a quick post there for Wendell Moore.
Hurt for 3. He used.
And this year's team has not put itself in a position to get fouled quite as often. And they're at a deficit from the free throw line, scoring and attempts on the year, which is very unusual.
They've only been to the line 7 times today. Louisville's been 16 times. Another tie, this time at 59.
Charlie Jones very fortunate to pick up a foul guarding DJ Stewart.
Wow, tough turnaround for Hurt. Spent the last 24 hours guessing that they'd come out and play zone for the entirety of the first half.
No, I thought it would be a simplified man, and a simplified man is just kind of keeping your man in front, don't overhelp, show help side, but don't overcommit, don't gamble, simple things like that keep you in the game. Wouldn't have expected to see zone, but it's not bad. There are just certain things that if you don't play zone a lot, there are going to be some challenges. Hurt for 3. You do learn a lot. You realize that you put too much pressure on yourself with things that just don't matter, and you step back, the game gets simplified a bit, and it seems as if that's the case for Champagny these last 2 games.
Hurt going down in the post, and he will finish.
Much better in this zone.
Tony for 3. And somebody must have gotten a finger on that. Johnson down with it for Duke. Hurt spins.
And better in transition because they can do what Coach K said he wants them to do, and that is play instinctually, think less.
What a great play by Stewart to come up with a steal. Boy, Johnson thought about it. Hurt will take it, and it goes. I got to see that was just slow motion.
Oh, that was already. Somebody needs to kick the ball out of bounds so we can see it again.
Yeah, he was there, and then he was somewhere else. 4-point game. Hurt over Champagny. 2 points.
One of my guys, Jeremy Roach is definitely one of my guys, but he has his hands full tonight having to deal with Jalen Cone. I'm not sure that Jalen Cone gets the level of credit that he should receive from.
They rely on him for a ton of scoring, but he can be explosive, and he's opened up a 39-23 advantage for the Hokies. Hurt's been pretty quiet so far in the lane, trying to use a little muscle. We talked about it early when he came into the game, his ability to explode, to really take over the momentum of a contest, and he's done it here. He's opened up a 46-31 lead.
Big possession here for the Blue Devils, trying to get some momentum going into the half.
Oh, talk about a lot of what we talked about earlier, Notre Dame and Virginia. At 4:30, then NC State, FSU, followed by number 16 Louisville and Wake Forest, all coming up on Wednesday, starting at 4:30, right here on the ACC Network. With a touch, spinning inside for 2. 11 to bump the lead to 54-47. Duke has not led in this game. Bounce up top for Hurt. Shot clock to 10. He'll let fly. And
it's a little bit of space.
Duke has outscored the Hokies 16-8 in this half. Here's Goldwire. He'll set it up. Duke's assist leader. The senior out of Norcross, Georgia. Hurt again down low this time. Nice. The other end by Aluma, the 6'9 junior. They need a lot of him, Corey, down the stretch here for the Hokies.
They really do. Only 6 points for Aluma, who averaged 15.5 a game. But right now we're starting to see that matchup between the 2 big guns from both these teams.
By Aluma in the paint. He is a lot to handle. 68-59.
But you talk about that run for Virginia Tech, showing maturity here as Duke made a run to get back in.
And ready to go against Wake Forest. Off we go from Cameron Indoor. Matthew Hurt gets the first touch and the first.
This is a guy who can play from a number of different spots. He's better when he's inside the arc, and you get a look at the Duke starting lineup. They've had a lot of changes over their game so far, too.
Hurt cans the Forest in front early on.
You got to say, he's not afraid.
Thrown right into the fire. Here's that back to the basket from Hurt, just carving out some space. 3 apiece so far. As Neath spun away from Goldwire, who hauls down the rebound.
That's the definition of a tough shot right there. And that's the definition of an easy movement, but Carter Witt right there, that's certainly a basket that Wake Forest needed, and he did that by himself off the dribble.
Well, when you talk about the Duke pressure, Dan, it's really impressive how Carter Witt has looked so far. Carter Witt as we start the second half.
I mean, probably the crowd today is about as big as it was in 1906.
There's Matthew.
Forest does a great job on the defensive boards, but Duke is already doing a great job. I thought that was a good shot by Massoud, though.
More on the scoop, no. Hurt is battling underneath. He comes up with a loose ball. Matthew Hurt burrowing down low with a tough.
So Duke comes down on their last possession, and they get 3 opportunities and finally convert, and then they force Wake into an extremely difficult shot with the shot clock running down.
Post entry for Matthew Hurt. Matched up with Oguama, who's got the 4 fouls. Hurt loves that fall away.
And it's been a run that's been fueled by Duke's defense and by Duke's ability to get the ball off the offensive board. And Wake Forest changing it up, a little 1-3-1. They're probably going to try to trap out of this.
Too much space, though, for Matt.
Boston College comes out in a zone. That's going to be their defense for tonight when we spoke with Jim Christian.
Back-to-back threes to get Boston College started. One of the rare misses tonight for Boston College. Still a 14-point lead for the Eagles. Step back 3. It's good. Matthew Hurt.
Get them into their offense and try to put them in a position to win the game.
Steph Mitchell has his pocket picked by Roach. Dumps it off. Here's Wendell Moore Jr. Kick out, Hurt for the tie. He's got it.
You cannot run it any better. Beautiful pass by Stephon Mitchell. Felder for another dunk off a beautiful pass.
Inside to Hurt. Count it, plus the... Goldwire left open for 3. Can't connect. Matthew Hurt, offensive board. Missed layup, but the second effort. $1:39 to play. Duke ball tied at 75. Matthew Hurt for 3, and he hits it.
Hub tied first in the ACC in points per game to begin this season as well. He has carried Notre Dame, and we are underway. Purcell Pavilion.
Man-to-man defense by Notre Dame. Trying to match up inside, trying to go a little high-low.
And they work it down low to her. Part of that group that's at the scorer's table. Set to check in next time out. Cutting to the basket was Jerron Durham, but the pass from Francis Hub knocked away. And here comes Duke looking to build on an early 5-point lead.
Key for Duke, we talked about it earlier, you and I. Matthew Hurt, they got to get him shots.
Hurt along the baseline, gave one up. Patrick Tepe, the grad transfer from Columbia, back to Hurt.
Andala Lale, he went for 439 yards. And ready for this? Lawrence doesn't play defense. They gave up 47 points, would have been 54, but Ian Book fumbled on him. He fumbled up. No doubt about it. He's done a brilliant job, and they got a really deep basketball team. That's going to be a heck of a game. The Big 12 is so tough. West Virginia is really outstanding. I mean, that conference is really tough.
Hurt with the fadeaway. Hurt gives it up. Breakfield. Shot clock at 4. He picks up his dribble. Old school scoop ball go. Offensive.
Those games would give you familiarity and get a little confidence, because winning breeds winning, and losing breeds losing.
Every time Notre Dame has made a little run to get the lead down to 7, down to 6, down to 5, Duke has countered, and 12 equals their largest lead.
All because they get good shots. They haven't taken bad shots. Are you kidding me? That area. He and Roach are going to make a nice combination.
Hurt. 2 on the shot clock. Got it.
Sing a miracle. Go big with delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Nachos Party Pack, only at Taco Bell. Get yours with Taco Bell delivery.
Hurt connect.
Drop step to the baseline side by Coburn, just a sophomore. He was in foul trouble against Baylor and was not on the floor as much as he needed to be. He's got to avoid those fouls in this game.
I'm only going to use mountain of a man 3 times tonight, Jay.
The over-under was 5.
Hurt here, jumper is good, and he
execution, better fundamentals in the half court, trying to slow down a little bit, make better use of the dribble, and be stronger with the ball, because they've had so many turnovers in their first 3 games. They're averaging about 17 turnovers a game.
Yeah, it's been a major issue for them. Hurt to the goal and puts
you. Once you have legal guarding position, you're allowed to move to maintain it. Yeah, I thought he did.
Hurt gets inside and rattles that one.
A really good defender. He's got a little deep round look to him,
no doubt.
But an excellent defender, left-hander. He's already made some solid defensive plays. Hurt, fake.
And Hurt takes advantage
to 5 a.m.
Wires took it away. Hurt gets it back after the hit those 3 threes early that really helped set the tone, and he's been quiet since. Inside, Hurt with a throw. Sumu, a little bit strong. Hurt rebounds.
Let Hurt touch it. There it is.
Inside, size advantage, rolls it. Well, DeSumo intended target was Coburn. It got deflected. DeSumo gathered it back in and then put it home. Hurt down low, hangs, hits, and he'll go to the
jumping center. Nick Thielen against Mark Williams, and the tap is won by Duke. With Grant Long, I'm Eric Collins. Underway on a Friday evening. 3rd game for Duke, 1st game for Bellarmine. Dump down, Hurt. That's one of those. Penn and Thielen, 5 on the floor for Bellarmine. Hurt, quick trigger. Rattles it through. Matthew Hurt, his first 3-pointer.
For success for Bellarmine because they're getting so much pressure.
Duke played the large part of this first half without Jalen Johnson. Picked up 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of the game and has had to sit. Hurt, step back 3.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. I did not see that. Every possession on both sides of the ball for Bellarmine.
1 possession game. Who would have thought? Hurt wants the ball to paint. Still can't get it to him. Breakfield has already made 3 3-pointers. Stewart. Extra pass more. Hurt. Oh, that helps. That helps. It's a long 2. Bradshaw spins. Blocked away by Williams.
You've got to know when you make that pivot and turn that Williams is going to be there. He's their last line of defense, and he's coming over to help.
Hurt. Matthew Hurt, sophomore from Rochester. Penn.
Left that one short. Right idea. Got close to the basket. Oh, wow.
Wow. Transition triple Hurts. 4-3. No look pass to Bradshaw. Again, no look pass this time to Ball. Blocked away by Hurt. Duke the lead of 16 and the ball.
Stout defense on that possession by Duke.
Roach walled off. Breakfield had a clean look. Hurt clears himself. Bottom of the well. Too easy.
This guy is fun to.
Claycomb slides past Johnson. Ball loose. And Johnson picks up the loose ball. Here comes Stewart. Hurt. Wow, good strength. We were told he had a 20. And so now Duke's next game will be against Illinois on Tuesday. I think that's just going to be everyone's life here this season. These games come, games go.
Yep.
And you just have to be ready to roll with punches. Duke, the basketball and the ball. And the lead up by 20. Hurt's been a huge story. And again!
They still continuing to write that story.
Out about showing a little bit more fight out on the floor and taking the fight to Duke rather than having Duke take the fight to them.
As you saw, Jalen Johnson on the bench for the moment. For Duke, another freshman's come in for them. Mark Williams, the big guy, number 5.
3 of the season, I believe. He was 0 of 6 coming into this one.
You are correct. 1 out of 2 tonight.
That is way too
6.
Really smart of Michigan State to recognize the mismatch. Jordan Goldwire was on Julius Marble. Marble is bigger, stronger. He's sort of an Andre Hudson type player for Michigan State and just bullied Goldwire down to the post.
Barton's lead doesn't last long as Marble knocks home another. He has 8 off the bench.
What a big factor Julius Marble's been in this game. You know, Michigan State at the end of the first half against Notre Dame had a 26-0 run.
Marble had scored 5 points combined in their first 2 games, 2 against Eastern Michigan and 3 against the Fighting Irish. Final seconds of the half. Hurt with Marble there, but not now for Michigan State.
Boy, what a great shot by Joshua Langford. I thought he was going to pull the trigger the first time he had the ball instead of trying to find Kithier, but how great is it to see Langford back out on the floor? Great in Final Fours like Michigan State has.
Well, as we said, the last 22 years, 8 Final Fours for Michigan State, the most in the country.
Remarkable. Just remarkable.
Oh, Hurt banks.
The Eagles shooting it well out of the gate. 47% of their shots last year were threes, and in their wins, they hit 34% of those. Hit only 25%, and the losses is Hurt. So you see Coach K a second ago, I was just sort of looking down from our table here. He has to walk around to try to get the message across to everybody. You can't just sort of lean over in one direction and talk to the whole team at one time.
That's very different.
Nearly a turnover there. Aggressive defense for the Eagles. Roach, 5 seconds now on the shot clock. You can see Hurt take a quick look all the way down the floor. Late shot clock. Fall away 3, no good. Blue Devils looking for their first double-digit lead of the afternoon. Hurt, 3, top of the key. And he drilled. There is rebound number 10 already for Johnson in this one. Roach turns the corner, sees a couple of defenders there. Hurt goes to the spin move in the paint and 1.
For everybody would be tough, especially when you're playing a lot of young guys.
3rd turnover of the game for Clayton. Hasn't made too many mistakes, but that was 1. Hurt hits the 3.